I'm in a little one-room schoolhouse that was built in the early history of this country, of the United States, and children would come here and they would all study from different ages. And it was a special time in the history of the United States. But it reminds me of another schoolhouse, small schoolhouse in a small place in Ireland, a place called Kells. And in Kells, God sent a mighty revival. But it began in a small schoolhouse. And in that schoolhouse, there were two men who wanted to have Bible studies and no one was interested. So they began to pray. They began to pray for revival. And as they sought God, His Spirit began to move and it was poured out across the British Isles, and there was a great harvest of thousands of people coming to know Christ. Charles Haddon Spurgeon, the great preacher in London, said that that year was the greatest year of harvest in many, many years in the British Isles. God moved in a mighty way because two men prayed in a little schoolhouse in a little village. Now, why do I share that story with you? Zechariah said in Zechariah chapter 4, he says, "Who has despised the day of small things?" You see, it's in the small things that God often works. It's with small people or small villages or communities, people who are the nobodies or villages that no one has ever heard of. That's where God often goes and moves. You see, His eyes go throughout the whole world looking for someone whose heart's perfect towards Him. And it doesn't have to be in a big city. It doesn't have to be in a small village. But God's looking for a heart that's completely His, who will seek Him, who will cry out to Him for revival, and He will send that revival. So don't despise the day of small things. So many times I hear people say, well, I'm not really anyone important, or, I just live in a little community, or there's nothing strategic about where I am or who I am. There was nothing strategic about that little place called Kells, but a revival was birthed there that spread throughout all of the British Isles. Oh, God moved. He took the small place, the small things. So don't despise the day of small things. You let God fill your heart. He's a big God. He can take small things and make them huge. So don't despise the day of small things. Seek Him with all of your heart.